The day that this happened, I fought a fella called Rudy Lubbers from Holland. Tough cookie. Anyway, I took him to 15 rounds to defend my European heavyweight title. And within a week later of defending that title, we got a phone call to say, would Joe Bugner be interested in fighting for a world title eliminator against Muhammad Ali? Of course, jumped at it. Fantastic news. You know, I mean, I thought to myself, oh my God, get a crack at my idol? Absolutely. But I've got to tell you, when you meet Muhammad Ali, I mean, at the press conference, he came in and he looked down at me. He said, and he's throwing these punches, and he was one of these beautiful guys. He was able to throw left jabs like a dream. And as he's coming towards me, he's throwing these left jabs. He looks at me and he says, "Damn, white boy, I've never seen such an ugly face in my life." He says, "Your mother must have cried a lot." I said, "No, you haven't seen my sister yet." And that killed it, you know. I mean, that killed it because Muhammad Ali, as I said, loved to tear people apart. Just loved it, you know. And he said, if you dream you can beat me, you better wake up and apologize. And he would go ramble on about things like this. And here was my idol. Here he was talking to me like I'm a threat, which I must have been because I was younger than him by 7 years. And then, you know, one of the great lines he says, "Do you know how fast I am, boy?" He says, "I'm so fast, it scares me." He says, "I'm so fast." He says, "I can put the light out and be in bed before the light goes out." And of course, you know, you're listening to this wonderful stuff, you know, like float like a butterfly, sting like a, and it's just to try to pull you down. I said, "We'll see." Because that's, I mean, I was so nervous. I was actually petrified. And it was brilliant. I mean, when I actually had the opportunity to fight him in Las Vegas, it's phenomenal. My problem is that I was very, very aggressive when I was a kid, in a sense that I blanked out. I blank out when I used to be a kid. And my saving grace, in my opinion, was that I took up professional boxing, or boxing, because it made me be able to create self-control. There's nothing worse than when somebody loses his head. And I have done this myself, you know, where you control your aggression, you control your, I mean, I lash out verbally, but physically, I haven't hit anybody since 1999, my last fight. But, you know, I'm just saying, I mean, you know, but to hit somebody outside the ring, I haven't hit anybody for, my God, no, I can honestly tell you, 35 years. Because young Finn, who's a street character, he's a street merchant, you know, he stands over people and he does a bit of bashing in the street. In reality, very few of these type of boys who are that kind in mentality go into professional boxing and succeed. Very few. But then, you know, you've got people, I say that in one breath, and then you've got the other side, you've got Sonny Liston, ex-criminal, you know, used to bash people and hurt them and do just dispose of them. And you've got also people like Ron Lyle, another great heavyweight contender in the world, who actually gave me a thrashing of my life. So yes, it can happen. And a lot of the boys who have actually been in the boxing ring do succeed in some areas and get a little bit of fame within the boxing fraternity. But it's short-lived, because something brings them out of this, because you see, when you're in the boxing ring, you're alone. You know, all people say, "Oh yeah, but you know, it's so easy, you got gloves on, you're protected." I said, "Yeah, well, you walk that 50 meters from the dressing room into the ring and see how you feel by the time you get in. And I don't care how tough you are. The most fearful part of any boxing is from walking from the dressing room into the ring and the referee saying, 'Box.'" A controlled athlete, like a professional fighter, although he could be seriously hurt by a street fighter, only because he's caught off guard. Because most of these gutless street fighters, and let me tell you, and that's what I think of them, the gutless. Anybody who kinks it, anybody's a gutless wimp, mentally. You know, they usually go in 2s and 3s. They're like rat packs, you know, they go in and they hurt somebody for no bloody reason. As I said, unless they owe money to someone and they're collecting. But I mean, that is not the scene that you can make any comparisons with a professional fighter who's a controlled substance. Because at least the young fella in the ring who's getting hurt by his opponent, the referee can step in, pull him apart, send him to his neutral corner. Right, you check it. How are you, kid? Are you all right? Can you see my finger? Yeah. Right, then you help him up. And if he still looks groggy because you look at his eyes, you send him back to his corner. And so that's it, son, you're finished. But that is controlled. Street fighting is the most cowardly exhibition, I think. I mean, I just don't like it at all. The reason they do that is because it's the most purest sport. Because as I said, when you look across the ring in the blue corner or the red corner, and you see this athlete who's fit and strong, and he's going to do the same thing as you're going to be doing as soon as that bell goes, it's pure because you got nowhere to run. You got nowhere to hide. You know, Muhammad Ali had a great saying, you can run, but you can't hide. You know, and that's the way it is. You're in there, so you're pure in a sense. It's not like football. When you get crunched in football, you can move the ball and somebody takes it off and then move it again and so on. So you don't have the clarity, other than maybe a couple of beautiful runs or moves when you throw the ball. Because if you're injured, you move the ball up. But in boxing, you can't do that. So it's pure in a sense that if you're hurting, the only person that can lift you out of that hurt and pain is your inner soul, your power, of inner power, and few and far between. You know, it's amazing. A lot of people ask me questions. They say, "Oh, Josh, why do you do this crazy sport? You know, you're in there trying to hurt somebody, blah, blah, blah." Well, this is where the noble art of self-defense comes in. And I think Lord Lonsdale made that comment, the noble art of self-defense. This sport, professional boxing, or boxing as we really know it in true sense, is 2,000 or 3,000 years old. I mean, young gladiators would go in there with their leather fists, you know, they're wrapped around them and they punch each other out. And what people don't realize is that this sport is still one of the most recognized sporting events on the planet. Because in every one of us, there is this lovely feeling of winning. I wish I was like him. Oh, I wish I was like Muhammad. I wish I was like whoever. You know, it doesn't matter because we all have our heroes. But physical violence is in all of us at some degree. So when you go into the boxing ring, in my opinion, this is me talking now, I never go in there to hurt anybody. I really go in there to take them out as quick as possible. I mean, if I could knock somebody out in one round, or the first second of the round, I know I'm not going to punish him. I'm actually having a good time because it's the first fight movie I've ever been involved with. So it's a pleasure and also an honor in many ways, because to help any young future director, producer, whatever within the industry, I think it's fantastic, because I may get hired by one of them one day for whatever reason. Maybe not for my acting ability, but certainly for my looks.